Easy people, I'm going to show you something I think is amazing. I don't know if anybody else has figured this out, but this is brilliant. For anybody who's got an Akai Force, you'll want to do this straight away. The way I've set this up, and I think I might have said this, I haven't said it before, I solely only work with the Akai Force. I have got other stuff, but I'm not interested in that. I'm only interested in how much power you can get out of this machine by itself, and that's tons. So I never connect it up to anything. The only thing I've ever connected it up to, which I think is useful, is Loop Cloud, because there's things that you can do when you connect it to Loop Cloud on your computer, which are like great time savers. And anything else with other music equipment, I'm good. On the next update, maybe look at that, because that kind of changes. But anyway, I digress. This is what I'm on about today. And it's how you can create a super arpeggiator. So I want to show you what I mean by that. You need just one thing, and there is a couple of caveats, but it's still brilliant. All right, so at the moment I've got a beat, right, and some chords, and I'm like, yeah, it's all right. If I was to put the arpeggiator on and do that, and the arpeggiator is on, I'll switch on the arpeggiator. Watch what happens. Nothing. It's still the same. But if I create a MIDI channel, let me just, I created one before, but I'll do it again. If I create a MIDI channel, right, and I copy those chords to that MIDI channel, I'll stop the chords what I have playing, and I play those chords from the MIDI channel. This is what happens. And I can go into the app, and then maybe I say to myself, I don't want it to be a rhythm like that. I want it to be that rhythm. Maybe I want it to have more swing on it. Maybe I want it to have less swing. Maybe I want the notes to be a little longer. Maybe I want them to be a little shorter. I can do all of that, and I can record that. So you're probably wondering, oh yeah, and just in case you weren't sure about what I'm doing, I'll go to Arp. Double up the Arp. Variations. Normal. Everything. I've got control over all of the Arps. All of it. So let me go back to the one that I had. Okay. So you want to know how I did that. Only thing you need is a MIDI cable. I'll take these out, show you. When you get an Akai Force, if you've got one, in the box you've got 3 cables that what connect to the back of here, which, yeah, look like this. Yeah. So you need both of them. You have 3, one for in, one for out, one for free. You need at least 2 of them, really. The third one for through, I'll leave that for people who want to kind of get a bit more sophisticated with that with their own devices. But all you need is a MIDI cable, and you can connect, because these are female. So if you get a MIDI cable, connect to one end and connect to another end, what you have now is, yeah, need to buy a new cable, right? You have one cable. And what is that one cable? That one cable can be a MIDI loop. Why? Because one side is going out and the other side's getting data in. So in the back of your Akai Force, you have 3 things next to the CVs. You have out, in, and through. So I'm going to use my fingers to that one, and then through. I might have to actually look at that. Have I done it to the right? No. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Right, okay. All right. I better check that. Cool. So that's doing a MIDI loop. And why is that doing that? Because, yeah, MIDI, a MIDI channel sends a port out, sends it on channel 1, 2, 3, blah, 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 cup of tea, slice of cake. And on the plugins, same with the drums, but you're not bothered about drums, it's about the plugins or key groups. You can do it to key groups as well. Is it sends in on that channel. So I'm gonna break down a quick caveats now, right? Obviously, you need an Akai Force. You get the 2 leads with it. You need a MIDI cable. That's cool. I'm sure somebody have MIDI cable. If you ain't got a MIDI cable, got a 5-pin DIN. They're probably about £1 now, £2. So that's one thing. The second thing you have to be aware of is whatever that plug-in is controls the while that MIDI's in, while that is in like that, whatever the velocity, the sound level, whatever the sound level of, oh yeah, because I didn't switch it back, did I? Let me just quickly switch it back. Right, there you go. Whatever the sound level of this is, so for example, this piano, if I do this, everything else is by that same level, even if I do that. So just keep that in mind. So when you've done with it, I would plug it out. Or if you work like I do, where I actually set volumes on things, then you're right. You just have to remember you're setting the volume on this. You're setting the volume via the channel that you're recording to. I'm guessing if I turn it to MIDI channel 2, that might prevent that, because then these are on the same channel. Don't quote me on that. Do you know what? What the hell? If you're still watching, I'm testing it now, so I'm going to move that to a channel. I'm not using 2, so that's on 2. So let's see, is that separate now? No. Still the same difference, and that's because it's. I think it's because it's sending on Omni. It's sending on all of these. So now, I've got 0 control over this track because it's already loud. So what I have to do is I have to go back to that and change that back to 1. So don't change them. So a little tip there, because that's just worked in my head. That means you can't really use this with other devices if you're bothered about velocities, because it's going to take the velocity of the first channel. And anybody who's using this with MIDI, I'm going to assume you figured out how to work MIDI. If you haven't, then this is not for you, really. Don't only use it with this. So let's go back to that. So what volume did I have? So I'll bring it to that volume. Okay, so now, so that should be the same level. Should be. Let me just make sure I did it to the right thing. That's on 1. That's already, yeah, that's already on 1. That can't be changed. So in theory then, I should be back to that. I'll bring that. Yeah, it is. Okay. So let's get back to what we're doing. So that's one caveat. The other caveat, what you have to keep in mind as well is, because it's sending a signal out and playing back to itself, it's going to keep doing that signal all the time, right? So my advice, depending on, there's 2 ways to do it. I think this is the best way to do it. The best way to approach it is to either do something twice the length of what you want, or set up a clip anyway to do twice the length of what you want. What I mean by that is, right, I'm going to record this, but I'm going to make sure I record it twice the length of what I need this to be, because there's an issue with the arpeggiator that they're going to fix in the next update, where it misses the beginning of notes. It doesn't always do it all the time, but it does it a lot. So the best way you can do that is either by creating a clip and playing into the clip, or whatever you're doing, making sure it's twice the length so you can cut it in half, and that means you're getting rid of all the crappy bits and you've got the bits that you want. So I say that's probably the best way of doing it, is cutting it down, because the other way is to take off the loop and hit it, and it's like, no, it's probably better doing it this way. So the MIDI thing is there, that's the one what's playing out. This is the one what I'm going to record to. So all I have to do is press that. I'm going to let it play until I get enough of it. So it's kind of like sampling. So you like MIDI sampling. So that did the right one. Oh no, good Lord. Do you know what? That wasn't that, because I didn't put the harp on. Yeah. So press the harp, do that again. See? Did you see what it did there? It missed out that first bit. So I'm going to just keep letting it play so that I get the part what I want. And I should also mention, while this is recording, I could actually go to town and start messing about with this. So like, I've got the piece what I want anyway now, because that's fine. But maybe I'll say, oh, let me flip it up. So let me flip it up. Well, no, that was the wrong one. It was there, that's what I wanted. So maybe to... So now I've got 2 bits. Maybe play that for a bit. Flip it again. So on and so forth. It doesn't really matter. That's not really the way I do it. I do little sections of it. So now I've got that piece in there. I can go to the clip and I can find the piece. I stop that. Stop this one. Remember, you want to stop this because this is still sending MIDI information into this track. So you always want to stop that whenever you've finished. And then now I can go back to this. And I can go to the part what I want, which is... No, maybe, but no, not really. No, weren't feeling that. Maybe not. So it missed a bit. It still missed a bit. Still missed a bit. Look at that. So it still missed a bit. So then we're going to have to do the other version. And the other version is, right, make it twice the length that you want it to be. I want it to be 4 bars long. So I'm making an 8-bar clip there. So that's now a nice blank 8-bar clip. Let me go back to the arpeggiator and make sure I'm on the right thing. What I was, rhythm, and it was jaunty. That's what it was, rhythm and jaunty. So now it's just going to record into that. That means hopefully I should be able to have captured the notes. So press that and go. Make sure. Sorry, I'll have to start again. Before I record that, make sure that's playing. Then go back to here. Press record. Put the harp on. Good Lord. But as you noticed, see, it records. So undo that. Put the harp on. Here we go. See, missed that piece. Hopefully it should pick it up now. So it did. And I noticed when you're in clip and you're seeing it record, that seems to work. So I'm going to stop it here. So I found my piece. So I've got my piece now. So that will bum me. But the one what I wanted is here. So I've got my piece and it's 4 bars, so I want it, so I can trim this now. So now I've got that. So I've still got them notes there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another plugin and I'm going to, I don't know, let's get a lead sound, some kind of lead sound somewhere. Oh, this one. First lead sound I've come across. And I'm going to play into this track now. So I'll go to the app. So now I can record something else in on a different channel. So again, it's going to send from this signal, so I could do the same thing here. Make sure I do it so that it's recording 6, 7 and 5, 6, 7 and. So now I'll stop that, and I've got, should have 2 recordings now. So what basically that means, hopefully what I've said made sense to you. You now can control the arpeggiator with the chords or the thing that you want to make. So it means you can set down your chords, then go through the arpeggiator to hear the thing that you want, as opposed to like before where you can actually preview the arpeggiator, where before you have to play and you've got to kind of, oh, is that right? And you don't know if it's right, and it can take ages. Suppose if you know that you want the arpeggiator, but you're not quite sure about the chords, or vice versa. Now you've got complete control of the arpeggiator. Like I said, little bit of caveat, you have to remember, A, to stop the recording when it's doing the signaling. If you're using apps and it's not using patterns, if it's using the patterns or it's using rhythms or anything like that, it starts to get a little glitchy. So that's why I would suggest creating a clip for things to go into. When you use arpeggiator normally, it still did a little glitch there because look, it's done a little chord thing. So I would probably say create the clip that you're going to record to make it twice the length, because it's going to get it wrong once and then it's going to get it right. I just did that on the fly to show that you can record on the fly. But if you were going to do that and say you were going to change the arpeggiator and move around the arpeggiator, I'd recreate the clip and then make sure you're on the clip. Because I've noticed when you're on clip edit, for some reason, it's like there's some kind of logic there where it says, if I've seen it, it has to exist kind of thing. So it actually puts the notes down. If you do it on like Matrix or whatever, for some reason, it's more glitchy. I hope that's been helpful. I think that's ace. I do think that's ace, really. And it's just that one lead, and as soon as you're done with the lead, pull it out. And everything should be back to normal because it's not sending any signals. So in theory, if I press this now, this should work now. Well, it clearly hasn't. So it might have to do with, you have to maybe have to delete that. I've not really gone any further into it than that, to tell the truth, because I came across it yesterday night and I went, wow, this is ace, this. So let me try again. Yeah, no, it seems to have fixed. So you have to change, probably have to change it with this. Let's see. So that's fixed now. There it is. So it's back to normal. So you have to fix it with this one, and then everything goes back to normal. Don't ask me why. I did not make this. I didn't program it. That's just things that, like I said, I'm showing you. I've learned. You learn. So hope that's been helpful. Super Arpeggiator. Please like and subscribe, and I'll do more. All right then. For now, hope you're safe and everything. And as always, peace.